Yo, today we got tier list of all 9 Kings cards out as of right now. So it's 8 Kings and then including the rainbow cards. So let's just get right into it. I'll go down the list real quick. S means if I see it out of the 3 picks, I'm picking it. A is pretty OP. I'll usually pick it if an S is not an option. B is decent. Usually if I'm going for a certain build, like my perks are already set up for it. C is rather not, but okay. Pretty much exactly as it says. If I'm out of gold, can't reroll, and it's better than decent for my specific build, I'll do that. And D is practically never played. I'm selling it if I have it in my hand. Okay, so let's just get right into it. First, we got the Archer. Also, I apologize. I pulled these straight off the wiki. I don't know why some are blurry, but we can kind of see it. So Archers, I'm honestly not a big fan of. I know they can be good. I'm gonna put them in rather not. I pretty much almost never play them. I would much rather go for like tankier builds and then get their damage up that way. It's just easier to scale. I don't like how quickly Archers die. Now ballistas, they are pretty good. I would say, honestly, okay, so it depends if you have a build with boars or raptors. I've made a couple of videos. I would say they're pretty OP because they can pierce a lot. You can make them really strong, but they're not my typical build. Like if I'm not building for them, I'm gonna move it down to, if I'm not building for them, I never really pick them. Beacon, I'm just gonna probably put a lot of the stacking ones in the must pick because if I see them, they stack. So if you're going past year 32, past the boss fight, it's just gonna be infinite. Obviously, it helps. That's the only way to get to late game in higher difficulties is fast scaling. Same with the blacksmith. Because I'm gonna put it as S as well. I was thinking about the quarry, like comparing the two, but quarry is for towers and it doesn't need to be next to them or adjacent, but the blacksmith is really good for any troop, so I'm gonna put him there. Obviously, I've made like 50 videos. Boars, one of my favorite cards in the game. They scale everything. You can put a beacon, really just a forest on the boars, but just a forest buffs every stat of the rider, an insane amount. It's so crazy. Bombers, if I'm not going for the achievement, I'm selling. Carnage, I pretty much almost never choose it, but if I have it, I throw it on whatever troop I know is just instantly dying at the beginning of a fight or gets up and close so that like thieves, imps, anything like that I know are gonna die and possibly get onto the back line or just group up, Carnage can be pretty good. Now, the castle, it's pretty OP. I've made a video or two about just if you focus the castle build, it can wipe out entire armies in like split second, and with the damage scaling, it will one-shot. You don't have to hope like with RNG with the Citadel, which is coming up. Cemetery, I put it in every single, I'm gonna have to put it in pretty OP. I put it in every single Imp run or King of Blood run. It's if I don't have this, I lose, so I'm putting it in pretty OP. I wouldn't put it as an S because you do need other troops to make this worth it. Like, obviously, it resurrects dead troops. So, by itself, it's pretty OP, but not the greatest. The Cauldron, okay. I know there are some builds that really like it. I'm deciding between C and D. I'm honestly not a big fan. Don't hate me. I'm not a big fan. I'm pretty much selling. I'm gonna put it there. Okay. When it comes to King of Spells, like 80% of the time, if I'm not doing a Warlock Boar build, I'm going for the Citadel insta-kill build because the perks, you can, with ×4, you get a 20% chance every lightning strike from the Citadel to just insta-kill, which obviously if you get it to level 18, possibly with a beacon on it, and you have the static field perk, it'll wipe the entire army by itself very quickly. It's insane. Clone, S. It literally lets you level up any card, no matter what. Any card. Obviously besides like consumables, like one-time use. Or spells. A troop, that's what I should have said, or a tower. Combustion, I'll throw it on there. I do pick it quite often. If I have anything that does like AoE, like warlocks, or just if I know the enemy has a lot of grouped up enemies, combustion's obviously really good because it'll just stack up, especially like a lot of quantity over tanky troops. The more that die, the more damage it does, so it's pretty OP. Concobulator, when I started the game, I really liked this card, but unless you have, I don't like wasting turns. I'm gonna put it as C. I know, it has to go in D. It's better than these two. It'll level up everything as long as you get it level 3. And then if you get an Earthworks, you can pick it up and get 2 working concobulators back and then just 1 broken one, so all you need is a 3rd. So it can be pretty good. Converter, I don't ever really use converter unless I'm going for a video. Yeah, they're nice to have just because they insta kill, but you need to focus them to make them like actually worth it for late game. Like you would need a beacon, like 4 beacons around them basically, if you want it to like just pop off late game. Defenders, I'm gonna put them as decent. They're pretty good. They're very tanky. Obviously they reflect the damage, so as long as you get them tanky, they're pretty good. But I don't typically run them. Like I'd rather go with paladins, just personal preference. I'd rather go with warlocks. I just feel better about those than defenders. Demon altar, that's also going to go into decent. Obviously I run it with every build for King of Blood, but after the first like 20 hours of playing the game, they were not my main focus. At first they were. I really liked how much just seeing the numbers go up, kind of crazy, but not a huge fan. Like if I'm not running a King of Blood build, I never put these down. It's just, yeah, never put it down. Dispensers, I'm gonna put indecent. Don't hate me. I understand. They are broken. They can cover the entire, or wipe out the entire army, but they need a lot of planning and certain builds to focus them. It also takes a little while to actually stack. So you risk a really weak early game just to get a good late game. So I'm gonna put it in decent. It is every card in here can carry runs by themselves. It's really just depending on how much you want to focus onto them. Earthworks, I'm gonna put pretty OP. I don't pick them as much as these other ones. Honestly, nah. These have to go down. I love boars, I love clone. Beacon's going S. It has to stay up there. I would choose beacon 10 times more than I do blacksmith specifically. But Earthworks is really good because you unlock the adjacent plots, so 2 pretty much every time. You pick up a card. The only negative is it removes the stacks that you've put on it so far and the enchantments, but you get the cards back. And like with the concobulator, you get 2 back working and 1 broken one. So this is really good for unlocking early plots so you can expand quickly. Echo Form, I love it. A lot of the builds that I do focus on 1 troop, 1 plot. Echo Form will take all these stats, all the enchantments, everything, and just duplicate it. It's OP. It's obviously better later in the run than earlier, but I love that. Probably the second most played rainbow card. Elves, personally do not like them. I don't sell them. Obviously, I can place them. They just take too long to attack. You pretty much have to focus them as well, just for them to be mediocre. I don't really like them. They do hit the backline, which is nice, but there's a lot of troops that also hit the backline that are a lot better, in my opinion. Executioners are, I would say, decent. They're not pretty OP. They can be. I'm gonna say that a million times. Every card can be. I just don't pick them unless I'm specifically building for them. If you don't focus on them, they just don't do enough damage to matter in later runs. or like later difficulties. And they also just insta die to like anything that gets to the backline. So they pretty much have to be the sole focus of your build, in my opinion, to actually be worth it. Now the farm. I'm definitely going to throw in pretty OP, not an S, because as it is really nice to get the 1 population, once you get past year like 50, when it starts jumping in large increments of difficulty, the 1 or 2 population a year is nice, but that's not going to be the reason you won or lost the run. Obviously, with the more years, they just stack and stack, so like you'll have plus 100 troops from a farm, but I'd rather just get procreate, or yeah, pretty much just procreate and just double my population that way, or just making the population I have that much stronger with other buildings. Flame tower, I like it just because I like towers and I like how it looks, but to be honest, I have to put it in C. It's obviously if you focus it, it can be good, but once troops get behind it, like once they destroy the rest of your army and they get behind the tower and the tower has to like catch up with the troops, it's just not, it can't keep up with the damage. It's not very good. But when you do focus it, the AoE from the fire is really nice. Gigantify, definitely going S. This is my most played card. Doubles the HP, doubles the damage, and just doubles the size for some reason, just to make it look cool. But yeah, the double HP and double damage is pretty OP when you focused on one. I just said pretty OP. It's very OP when you have a really strong troop. Forest, because I have the boars here, I'm gonna throw them on S as well. Any build, you need something that's stacking for later runs. You need something that stacks. So like Beacon, Forest is really good because a lot of the troops are tanky, and especially with Gigantify doubles HP, it just works really well with a lot of troops. It's pretty universal on anything that can be used. Imps, I'm gonna put in decent. I do think they can be good. Even in my King of Blood runs, I don't focus on my imps. They're really just suicidal carnage stacks for me. Obviously they have large quantity, they can do quick damage, they're pretty fast, but I would much rather do pretty much any other troop besides bombers over imps. Obviously the C category as well. Haste. I'm gonna put rather not, but okay. If I don't have any rerolls, I'll pick this one. But I don't really ever pick this over the other rainbow cards. It only does 1 troop, 200% of movement speed. Sounds good, but that's not going to be the reason you won or lost. Lab rats. Okay, they are a pretty fun build when you're playing King of Progress. I do really like going the lab rat build. You can get some really strong lab rats, but you need a good start. You need a lot of lab rat cards to make it worth it. You need reinforced cards. If you are out of luck and you're just not getting lab rat cards, you can't level them up enough to make them strong enough, and then with the lack of levels, reinforced isn't able to keep up. So I'm gonna put them in decent. Mercenaries, I'm gonna put in pretty OP. As long as you have any form of getting gold, these guys are pretty well rounded. Health, damage, and they stack infinitely. You don't need a farm to get their population up. It's all about if you have possibly some vaults or other forms of getting gold. Mangler, selling. I only did this for the achievement with the Mangler. Other than that, I do not like them getting rid of a population of a nearby troop. You pretty much need at least a farm that focuses the plot that they're taking from at least over 1, but then they're just countering each other out, so I'm not a big fan. And the 2 damage that you get per life or whatever that it takes, not gonna keep up in the later runs. Library, I'm gonna put it in decent. You need the right enchants on a troop. and you need it. It's still a 50% chance. You can get it to 70 with if you're playing King of Spells, but that's a pretty, you're wasting a ×4 slot on a perk to get a 20% extra chance. Obviously, if you get 1,000 enchants on one troop, the library is really good, but it takes a while, and it's just not as good as the other troops. Hands of Midas, or Touch of Midas. I'm gonna put in Decent as well. If you get it on a troop that attacks fast and actually kills the troops, not just does like incremental damage, this can get you a lot of gold over time, especially if you're going with mercenaries or just anything that needs gold. It's just a nice little boost every fight, especially when their population, like the enemy population, gets like 500 and above. You're gaining quite a bit of gold every single war, every single battle. Mortgage, I don't like. Only getting 30 gold for destroying a plot, per level at least of the plot, like that's not worth it in my mind. If I've put in time to get something to level 3, 90 gold is not going to make me want to delete it and wasting the like at least the 3 turns I took to get it to level 3. It's just not worth it in my opinion. The mothership. Obviously, you don't have a choice when it comes to the mothership, but I'm going to put it in C. The AoE is nice. If you focus it, it can do basically what the catapult does, but I'm just not a big fan. It's so slow. You can get upgrades for it. Still, I'm not a huge fan of the King of Progress ability. Mycelium, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing anything. I'm gonna put in Decent. When I started the game, I loved this card. I put it in every single run. I thought it was OP. I pretty much did any tower run. I really liked it, but now I don't think I've actually played this card and depended on it for a win in a very long time. Offering, I'm gonna put in pretty OP. You get 3 cards for destroying 1. So I mean, if you get a card, like if you're out of gold or don't want to spend your gold on a reroll, you don't like any of the 3 cards of your option, doesn't matter. Pick it, place it. Your next turn, you'll get 3 new random cards, which you can then do again if you have another one. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. It also helps me kind of plan out my army or my plots, because if I make a mistake, I can just get rid of a plot. The Ogre. I genuinely have not. I've only picked the Ogre like once ever. Just off reading the card, if you have it with 4 adjacent empty plots, 40% to all stats, I can see how that's crazy. I'm sure it's A or S, to be honest, but from my just experience just reading the card, I'm gonna put it in Decent. I haven't seen it, don't hate me. Orchard, I like it a lot. I'm gonna put it in Decent. It targets 3 troops, keeps them in place, and does damage. It's nice to have, definitely nice to have. I like it, especially with troops that attack fast or just need a little bit more time to stall so they don't die as soon as they get hit by like 2 troops. It's nice to have this. Overhaul is also pretty OP in my opinion. Same thing, it destroys the plot, but it levels up 2 random plots. This can help a lot early game. Like if you have a troop you don't care about and you didn't have, like if I was looking for imps and I didn't get an imp in my option, I have no gold to reroll, and I have an overhaul, I can just pick this, place whatever useless card I had for my build, and just level up my level 1 imps early on. It can give you a really good boost. Pagoda. That shit is OP as fuck. Especially when you're obviously, you can only play it when you're King of Blood. The perks with summon strength being 50% stronger, double the pagodas, the imp spawns. It does so much damage. It jumps from like 30 damage imps to like 150 in like 2 levels. It's crazy. And then you get like thousands of damage. They crit like 80% of the time. It looks like it carries every single run. This might be probably the most OP card in the game. I'm gonna move it up front. I haven't been ranking it in order like this, mainly just by the tier, but Pagoda is number 1 with the right perks. over-interest, or over-invest, not over-interest, it is pretty good. I mean, when you have an OP troop, it'll just buff the stats by 15% for 30 gold. You obviously are probably good on golds, that doesn't matter to you, and it's nice for the 15%, but if you're that late in the game, chances are that you already have enough stack that 15% won't make a big difference. To waste a turn on, at least. Now the Paladin, putting in decent. They're heavily defensive troops. I like them. The problem is you just need some other troop to do the damage pretty much. But yeah, I do like playing the Paladins quite a bit, no matter what king I'm playing. If I see them, I pretty much take them as my tank, if I don't have one already. The Palace, with the recent buff of changing, or not the buff, I guess, but the quality of life improvement where putting in auto one-shots the actual targeted gold troops, it has to be an S pick, because you get extra gold per gold. Every time it hits a troop, insta-kills them, you get extra gold per turn. You can get a ton of gold this way. It's pretty OP since the quality of life. And just so, like, originally I had been getting hate comments for not taking it off auto, but I just don't trust myself to be more accurate than the computer. And now that the auto actually targets the gold troop to get me the gold, yeah, that's a solid pick. I'm moving that up to 2. Poison. Unlike the Cauldron, I would rather just put a poison enchant because it does the same thing. And you can put, I understand it's not putting it onto 4 adjacent slots, but it doesn't take up a plot at all. You just put it on a troop, it does poison for the rest of the game. I honestly forgot, I think it's like patronage or something, leveling up the base plot 3 times. It's nice. I don't think I really ever pick it, because if I am focusing my castle, it's usually like picked most of the time. Like I already have it high enough level to where the 3 levels is nice, but I'm gonna pick the other rainbow cards over this one. Procreate, definitely decent. It's nice to add 9 troops, but kind of like everything else that I've kind of put in here, 9 troops is not going to be the reason you win or lose. It's how you stack with the forest, beacons, blacksmith, quarries, everything else like that, depending on what difficulty you're playing in. Early game though, the 9 troops is pretty good. Like adding it to 9, like adding 9 paladins or warlocks or any troop really, but I typically do it on my tanks. Okay, first hit's always critical. Is I mean, if you have a library, it can be really good. I'm gonna put it as decent because there's a lot of different ways to get critical hits, and wasting a whole turn early, that one hit is not gonna be the reason you win or lose. So honestly, I'm gonna put rather not, but okay. Like I'll throw it on, but definitely not gonna pick it over pretty much any of these other cards above. Quarry, if you're going for a tower build, must pick. Upgrades every building, damage, every tower, includes a flame tower, even though it moves, converter, even though it insta-kills, trebuchet, stronghold, like all of the buildings, like all of your castles. Quarry's so broken. Okay, I believe this is raising. I actually really like raising. A lot of builds are dependent on what decrees you get, and well, not dependent, but I mean pretty much dependent if you think about it. Like if you don't get certain decrees, or at least once or twice in your run, your build just might not work. It just might not be good. So raising allows just an extra chance to get whatever you need. Reinforce, definitely pretty OP. If you get it early in a run, you can get a lot of stacks on it, especially if you have a library. You get ton of damage buff on a certain troop every time something levels up. It's really nice if you can get it early, in my opinion. If it's late, it doesn't really matter. but it'll help scale a lot faster if you get it early. Sacrifice, I'm gonna put in decent. It levels up the adjacent plots pretty good in my opinion. It also gets rid of a plot. It's just not as good as Overhaul, upgrading 2 plots even though it's random. And then also you get 3 cards off of the offering, so I'm gonna put Sacrifice right below them. Scapegoat, rather not but okay. I think the only time I've ever really liked them was when I was going King of Stone. I didn't have a single troop on the field besides them, so they were dying every round, and I was spamming their population to where I was getting a shit ton of gold every round, while my walls and my turrets just killed everything else. Scout Tower, honestly, I'm not a big fan. If you're gonna go for a tower build, I mean, there's the dispenser, the trebuchet could be decent depending on how many buildings you have. Okay, I'm gonna put rather not but okay. It is not on the same level as these. It's definitely better than those 4 in my opinion, so I have to keep it here, but I just don't play it that much. Shaman makes your troops bigger, buffs their damage. I like it. I wish I could see more stats. Like, I want to see exactly how they buff it. Like, are they just adding their damage onto a troop? I don't know. I could just be dumb and missing something. I just don't really like playing them, unless I'm obviously winning, and I just like seeing troops get super big. Shrine is really nice. Not gonna put it on the same level as these 2. It won't change your run too much, like much later in the game. You can get it to where it just levels up things automatically, and it's really nice because the decree you can get where buildings apply their effect 1 more time, that's for any king, so they're neutral. You can get that. It'll put anything you put on 1 plot, it'll instantly get to level 3 once everything's maxed out. So it's really nice, but there is a cap. It just levels up plots, but if you have every single plot, it is useless. So I mean, it's really good, just not must pick. Slime, I know, honestly, I'm gonna put rather not but okay. I've had a run where I wasn't even trying to do damage with them, and they were kind of popping off. They were doing a lot of damage, but I pretty much choose any of these other rainbow cards every time I have it as a choice. I would put the slime above the ogre, to be honest, because I like filling in the plots. I never really have enough empty slots or plots for the ogre to be good, but yeah, I'm gonna put it right above. Nothing will be as bad as these 4. We'll see. Spire, I'm gonna put rather not but okay. Definitely can be good. It heals continuously. You can get it with more beams. It's good for your tanks. I just don't really ever focus it. I don't feel the difference because I can't see the health of my troops, so I can't actually like visualize how much it's doing, even though it shows numbers on like the damage or whatever. I just, in my brain, it doesn't click the same. Soldiers, I actually really like soldiers. Yeah, I'm gonna put soldiers above these troops in here. I play soldiers more often than any of these guys. Maybe equal to paladins. I could move paladins up, but they're just so tanky that they're only like I only pick paladins when I don't have a tank already. Soldiers, I'll put pretty much 90% of the time if I have them in my hand. They're just decent all around. Static, more chance you get if you have a library or any way to get this number up, it'll wipe out a lot of troops, adds a ton of damage. Stronghold, I mean, I kind of have to put it in the must pick because you're gonna have to play it every game, but as long as you have 1 quarry down early, this building will become unstoppable. It'll, as long as you get decrees as well, like double the placement speed and also double the damage of turrets, it's insane. It'll carry runs by itself, and that's, you can just leave it on auto. You don't even have to touch your game pretty much. Steel coat, same thing as static. A lot of the enchants I'm going to put in pretty OP because they're only dependent if you have a lot of them. You need a lot to be worth it in longer runs. Steel coat can keep your backline alive for a much longer time, which is really, really nice to have. Temple, the 10% stat boost. especially if you get the decrees where it adds an additional attempt, or if you can clone it, S card, if you can clone it or just get multiple of them or get them leveled up, you get just at level 3 without any decrees, 30% stat boost to random stats of your any plot, which it is random. It can be useless stats that you don't really care about for those specific troops. But that's 30% level 3 without any decrees. It's kind of crazy, kind of nutty. Thieves, I hate playing against them. Yeah, no, they have to be pretty OP. Just because they jump on the back line, instantly they teleport. They have different decrees that add crit damage, double their crit. They can wipe out entire backlines before the front line even has a chance to get back to protect their backline. It's kind of, thieves are very annoying to play against. Trappers, honestly, it's probably selling, but I do kind of like playing them more than these 4. I just like seeing the traps build up. Treant or whatever. I'm gonna put indecent. It does damage and heals. It keeps your tanks alive. It can kill backline with a high enough level. It also stays on the ground permanently for that round at least. So you can just stack to where you have like 1,000 heals going at once. Trebuchet. If I'm not running a full tower build, I never really put the Trebuchet. You need a lot of buildings to have it throw a lot of rocks. You need buildings to buff its damage. Their attack speed's pretty slow. You pretty much have to focus a tower building if you want to use it. Unify. Honestly, I'm going to put in selling. I know it's probably really good in certain situations. I don't think I've ever actually wanted to use it, because if I have a high population on 2 different troops, chances are in my build I like both my troops and I don't want to just give them up. But I'm sure in very specific situations people might hate on me for putting it as selling, but honestly it's the same as these in the bottom row. Vampirism, I'm going to put in pretty OP, same with static and steel coat. They stack, healing. If you have fast attack speed, as long they can pretty much out heal the damage being done to them. Until later difficulties in like endless runs, obviously it won't be able to keep up, but for a long time it does. Wallmakers, I'm gonna put in decent. You need forest on them to actually buff their health, because their base health is only like 3,600 at max level, and you can only place 3 on a plot. And without forest buffing the HP on them, they really just get outscaled so quickly. The vault. Honestly, I'm gonna put the vault in decent. If you're playing King of Greed, you don't really need the vault too much. Obviously, I'm gonna be placing vaults if I'm King of Greed, especially early, you need vaults. But the palace, once it's leveled up with the perk, or not the perk, the killing the gold troops gets you gold, you'll outpace the vault tenfold, especially with other decrees where like throwing your cards into the pit get more gold. The vault just gets outscaled super quickly. But obviously, if you're not playing King of Greed, you can definitely place the vault to help get other gold, because a lot of other kings don't really have ways to get gold like the King of Greed, obviously. Now wild card, I'm gonna put in pretty, I'm putting in S. I pick this card almost every time I see it. It's gonna be above these for sure. And then like if I'm putting it in order, I'm putting it like this. Definitely clone in. I use clone pretty much as a wild card most of the time, but I'm gonna put these of course up here. Pagoda is number 1 though. That is the strongest card in the game if you level it up and have any perks at all for King of Blood. It's the only king I've gotten to King 9/9 with like no difficulty at all. Now for most of the King of Nomad cards, pretty much saved for last, Migration. If you're playing King of Nomads, you can get 4 migration cards every expansion, which only goes like 3 or 4 times a game. So it could be good. I'm gonna put decent. The stat boost is nice. It does move it so you can rearrange your plots without destroying them and picking them up and losing their stats, which is good. But a lot of the times I'm not like gunning for a migration card. It doesn't call my name as other ones do. Warlocks, I love them, especially with the boars, probably one of my favorite combos, but I'm gonna have to put them as decent. Their attack speed is too slow. They do AoE damage and they're tanky, but too slow. You need other cards to buff them. Dragon Den, I'm gonna put in decent. Obviously, if you play for it, it can wipe the entire field pretty much instantly without even a troop hitting them. But I don't really like going for Dragon Den builds too much. It was fun like the first and second time. The Dragon video is actually like one of my most, I'm pretty sure it is my most popular video, but definitely just I don't even remember the name of this. Just levels up everything in a diagonal line. Don't care for it. I'm selling it. I know it can level up multiple cards. It'd be nice, but yeah, I don't care. If I'm needing it that badly, I would rather go for any of the other rainbow cards. Mob. Must pick right now. With their population growth, you can do so many different things with it. They can get their population so high if you focus it, no matter what card you're placing. They can be next to anything other than another mob card, and they'll gain a population every time that card does as well. It scales pretty insane for late game. Wizards, I know I'm gonna get hate for this one. Putting it C. I have never had a good run with just wizards. I always need something else on the wizards, or just another card to carry. I don't like wizards, but they're still better than all of these. Raptors, I'm honestly gonna put them in a must pick. I was thinking about pretty OP, but the fact that they just give their stats, they don't scale the stats to the rider, but they give their stats to the rider. For people like elves or warlocks where their attack speed's so low, like 0.1, the raptor has a 0.5 attack speed, so instantly times 5ing whatever their attack speed is, instantly changes them, takes them to the back line, does damage to everything. It makes ballistas just look like a machine gun pretty quickly, especially if you have a single beacon on them at any point in the game. It's just busted. It helps really hard, like low stat scalers that you usually base your build around. It gives them that early game buff to ensure that you're strong enough early to actually survive to get into the late game. Shields, I'm gonna put pretty OP. It is just like a one-time use, consumable, 10 HP or 10% HP, whichever's higher. I do really like the option or like the guarantee that it'll give you whichever's higher. So early game, that's a huge buff. Late game, 10% HP is a huge buff. It's just nice that they give you, no matter what, you'll get one or the other, whichever's better for you. Camp, obviously when Nomads came out, I was trying everything in my power to use camp as often as possible, but since like the first 2 days, I pretty much never placed the camp. It's good for the stat boost, but there's other cards that are more consistent stat boosts that I'd rather pick and place over the camp. Warlord, I'm gonna put pretty OP, not in that must pick. I know you have to play them, but you need, for them to be good, you have to focus them. And just comparing them to the other castle builds, like the pagoda, like the palace, or the stronghold, those are really good with like one thing buffing them. The warlords, I feel like, need so many things to make them OP, which then makes your entire army OP as long as they're alive. But they just have a lot more needed to become OP. Frost, I'm gonna put in decent. It's just an enchant. You could throw it on, not really worry about it. It's not taking up a plot, which is a huge deal. Slows their movement speed and attack speed. That's pretty good, especially if it stacks. You can get the decree to make Frost do poison damage. So once they fix it to where you can actually see the poison damage every second from Frost, like as it stays on them, not just the initial poison damage from Frost being affected, that'll be really nice to see at least. But like for right now, I'm just putting in decent. And then sword is going right next to the shield. Obviously, if you're going for damage, it's 5 damage or 5% damage. Changes the entire game early drastically. You don't even have to worry early game. It just triples or quadruples their damage early. Or the 5% damage late game is a pretty big buff once you start getting infinite scaling troops and damage and anything really. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of the tier list. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate, a lot of different builds or cards I don't use or utilize properly. I know that I don't think anyone plays every card perfectly, but yeah, let me know what I did wrong, which y'all would replace, how y'all would change it. Just don't hate me. Also, I don't care if you hate me because I'm playing the game by myself. Love y'all. Thank you for watching. See y'all next time.